thank you for being here. To address you not going to Missoula, well, Baucus hasn't come here either, so. And we did ask him. Anyhow, my point is, we hear about the health care thing. And I heard Senator Tester say that we need a health care like the VA. Well, my husband was a veteran. And I will not go into detail, but when he was well, we got very good doctors and everything went fine. And when he got sick, he had to go to Fort Harrison. Well, you know, I'm his wife. I can't afford to go to Fort Harrison and be there for as long as he was in the hospital. In and out, in and out. When we gave up going to dinner. We gave up not having a boat and TVs and everything else that people seem to think they have. So we paid for extra insurance so that he could be here at St. Pat's and get the medical care that he needed. And then the VA was supposed to give him his medication. And for, you know, your $8 a month is what we had to pay for each one, which was great, no problem there. But it's getting it. I could write a book about the times I had to be the advocate. I called Senator Tester 3 times before I got a response. When I was bringing my husband home from St. Pat's, the VA told me his medication would be here at Albertsons. He needed prednisone and he needed insulin. I brought him home. He sat in the car an hour because that medication wasn't there, and the doctor had said, no, I'm not going to approve it. This is not what we want. I want the government out of my health. This is my body, and I don't want them telling me what I can and cannot do with it.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your husband's service in the military. He wouldn't be in the system if he wasn't a retired military. And one of the greatest assignments I ever had, and I lost it when we lost the majority, is we created a separate committee in appropriations from defense, because I wasn't as interested in armament and aircraft carriers and all that kind of stuff as I was in the quality of life for our servicemen and women. And so we created the subcommittee. I was one of 6 Republicans, 8 Republicans, 6 Democrats, called Military Quality of Life. And our job was to see that our military were adequately paid, they had the right kind of health care, they had the right kind of housing, whether it was single or families or physical education facilities, just the quality of life of the military. Now, unfortunately, when we lost the majority, that got rolled back in to defense. For the most part, we have to be a little bit careful when we're talking about the Veterans Administration because, one, it is a one-size-fits-all, it's a national system. But, you know, we're different in Montana. We take things a little more seriously. And actually, our care, the quality of care that exists at places like Fort Harrison are second to none. But the problem is the taxpayer, because of the access issue, limits the ability to go to the hospital of your choice. You hear people say, well, wouldn't it be nice if we had a credit card in our pocket and we as a veteran, rather than sitting on the bus to go to Fort Harrison, had the opportunity to go to the hospital of our choice. You can't do that. And as much as we would like to do that, the taxpayer would react very poorly to opening up the system. And so, yes, we provide government health care for our veterans, but it is rationed. You can't kid yourself. It does exist. Thank God we have the quality of care we do for our veterans in Montana. It is not like that. And in that subcommittee that I served on, I could tell you the horror stories and the lost Social Security numbers and the inability to treat people like individuals. And so your point is well taken. It drives me crazy to watch my own family members that are in the military have to do certain things. And so we supplement their opportunity to go to the hospital of their choice, the doctor of their choice, and such. That does not diminish the fact that we need to continue to take care of our veterans. We need to try and improve our Medicare system. But what I'm suggesting is we don't take that system and try and expand the problems by putting all of America on a system similar to that. And that is the fundamental philosophical difference. It's not that I don't recognize the problem, and we've talked about accessibility and affordability, but why exacerbate an existing problem, creating more of the same, rather than trying to fix the problems we've got within the system we've got. And there are some that would, I hear this, every once in a while I have to kind of jerk myself back, because people will say, well, God, is there nothing positive going on in America? You're so negative. Well, frankly, guys and ladies, you don't send me back to Washington to fix the things that are going right. You send me back here to fix the things that are going wrong. So I kind of dwell on problems, and yet I'm not all that happy to travel with, as my young staff will tell you. He refers to it as driving Miss Denny. I can get pretty owly in the car like today. But America has an amazing ability to right itself. While I criticize the president's so-called stimulus package, our economy is going to come out of this okay. But the problem is we slowed down the recovery. If we'd done it the way, even though Cash for Clunkers was a failure in many different ways and it picked and chose winners or losers, look how fast it was used. So apply that same principle that if we'd cut all your taxes for 1 year, what would you have done with that money? We would have spent it probably. And wouldn't that stimulate the economy like that? Rather than sitting here wondering when unemployment's going to come back, when spending's going to occur again. So Cash for Clunkers was actually a reflection of a good thing, whereas if we just gave money to the consumers, it would begin the economy going again. But it turned into being a government program, which failed because it was a new government program, which had never been set up before, which the structure for management of it was not in place. Sound like healthcare reform? Yes, sir.
Hello.